Okay everyone, welcome back to episode 2. That is a very low resolution Coruscant. Yeah, I think we're over Coruscant. This is a space battle. We can bypass it if we wanted to, but in the interest of the LP, I think we should show it. So we're going to do it.
As the Clone Wars progressed, more and more ground-based legions found themselves pressed into space combat, including the fighting forces of the 501st. For months, every hour of our downtime was spent in the simulator, preparing for the time we would face our enemies from the cockpit of a 170. Finally, the day came to earn our wings. The CIS had staged a daring kidnapping of Chancellor Palpatine, and was being escorted from Coruscant by a fleet of separatist ships. With only a few veteran pilots on planet, many of the 501st were pressed into service to drive off the Seps and buy time for a pair of Jedi Knights to rescue the Chancellor.
Okay, so this obviously takes place in episode 3. I'm going to stick as the pilot for this. No? Yeah, we'll stick as the pilot. No, we'll go to the moon. Yeah, this takes place during episode 3. If you remember, Anakin and Obi-Wan have to rescue Chancellor Palpatine from Grievous. This is just before it.
Incoming fighters, take them out.
Alright, so space battle is pretty fun. And it's not my favorite thing to do, because they generally take a lot longer than ground missions. But they're okay. So what we're going to do here is just take out Vulture. They're not even Vulture droids in this, because they're actually, I guess for the interest of balance, they are piloted by droids. It's their ships. We're just going to take a few out. We have to take, what, 3 more? Not too hard. And one thing I noticed, I thought it was kind of funny. These ships are obviously the inspiration for the X-Wing. I know that these came after the X-Wing because of the way the movies are, but chronologically, these would have been the ships that would have inspired the X-Wing. And these currently belong to the soon-to-be Empire. Whereas if you look at the Vulture droids, they're very much like similar when they're flying anyway like this to a TIE fighter. I find it funny that those ships stay that way basically. You know, the enemy, the bad guys. You know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying, but I can't quite get it across the way I want it to. Alright, so we've taken out 8 Vulture droids. Now we have to take... Oh, we have a missile incoming. Ooh, I think that hit me still. You do have aerial maneuvers, which is nice. And I think you can... Yeah, you can fly this in first person. You don't get cockpit view, unfortunately. But you at least get first person. Get rid of their shields here. I think this is the ship that Palpatine would be on. Just one more hit will do. Boost away, spin around. Oh, there we go.
Focus your fire on the main CIS ships. We need their shields down as quickly as possible.
Alright. I think didn't we just get the shields down? Okay, this one now. This cruiser, we have to get the shields down on the cruiser. Now we can just hold back here and just very slowly go towards it while spamming missiles. But it's going to take a lot. And actually, yeah, I was going to say, surprised no one's shot me yet. There you go, I got shot down. And we'll respawn back in the hangar. Straight back out there. So let's get out of first person. I like playing in third person in most games if I can. Only because I like to see the character model. And these character models, a lot of time being put into them in most games. It's always nice to be able to see them. I mean, obviously the other, you can see other people's, and they can see yours, but sometimes it's nice to see your own. I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks this. Third person's kind of nice sometimes. Alright, we can get rid of this now. There goes their shields.
Take down the droid communications array. That'll give you an opening.
Okay. Just take out this thing here. I'm gonna say it's pretty simple, but these missions generally tend to be a little longer than the ground ones. Just a little bit more tedious, really. Well, tedious isn't a fair word to use. It's all fun, but they're not my favorite thing to do. Alright. Here we go. I'm just gonna Don't mind me. Can't shoot in here, which is a shame. Can run some over.
Use rockets or time bombs to destroy the internal systems.
Right. So the last time I did this, like the last time I actually recorded this already. I've done like the first 4 or 5 missions. The only reason I didn't keep them because the resolution of the videos was all wonky and it didn't look right, and I couldn't live with myself if I uploaded it like that. I spent a long time, for whatever reason, just trying to throw a thermal detonator at this. I was like, okay, there's one, does a little bit of damage. I went through them all, I ran out, I had to go try and get more. I completely forgot I have a rocket launcher. That does way more damage. So we're gonna just destroy this. Obviously with them being AI, they're not very smart, they're not going to come in and try and stop me. Might get the occasional 1 or 2 wander in. Not a big deal though. We can just finish that off with thermal detonators. If I can get them to... There we go.
Now, grab a fighter and destroy the bridge of the enemy cruiser.
Right, so we came in, now we're leaving. Sometimes you'll see clones come in here. Well, that might be on some of the later missions. They come in, and they just sit on those computers there. I don't know what they're doing. I think they're controlling their guns on the ship. Pretty funny. Right. Now I remember when the new Battlefront was originally announced, when it was still considered Battlefront 3. They were going to have where you were on the ground, but if you got in a fighter, you could take off and actually leave the atmosphere in the ship and participate in a space battle.
Like that, the Republic is well on its way to...
I remember seeing that and just, oh my god, that's amazing. And then they go ahead and cancel it. And now we get this other Battlefront, which completely different studio, I think.
After disabling the final capital ship, General Kenobi and Skywalker took advantage of the opportunity we'd created and rescued the Chancellor. Took all the credit too.
Well, there you have it. That is the end of this episode. I forgot to point out in the last episode, you get this little scoreboard at the end because it is primarily a multiplayer game. It doesn't really matter. You can say I got 10 kills, died once. It really doesn't matter. I'm not going to pay too much attention to that at the end of episodes. But anyway, I would like to thank you all for joining me today. This one was actually shorter than the last one, funnily enough, despite me saying that space battles are normally longer. I hope to see you all for the next episode, where I forget what it is already. But it should be fun. So until then guys, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.